Why do people think that I ought to care how my words make them feel? Not think, not reason, not intellectually interpret the facts, but feel. And I'll be honest, I don't care how you feel. Not one bit. And you have no right to expect me to care about your feelings. So let's talk about that for a couple of minutes. This is going to be a short video, but I've had a couple of people approach me lately, upset that my words, both in my videos and on forums and on Reddit, that they aren't concerned with their feelings. Now, this isn't aimed at anyone in particular because, as I said, this happens all the time. But I wanted to put this out there so people understand. I don't care how you feel. I care how you think. I care if you're coming to rationally defensible conclusions. I care if you're able to objectively and intellectually examine the evidence without your emotions getting in the way. How this might make you feel is totally irrelevant. And that's something that a lot of people these days, especially these days, can't quite get through their head. No one can offend you without your consent. I cannot possibly give you offense. You can only take it. And whether you like it or not, it's a choice. If you take offense to something that I said, then you need to look at yourself and figure out why you had an emotional reaction to simple words. I didn't do it to you. You did it to yourself. You need to find and fix that failing within yourself. Because demanding that I change in order to keep you happy, yeah, that's not going to happen. Sorry. See, I'm not saying anything that I say because I want to offend people, or because I don't want to offend people. I honestly don't care. Your reactions are your own problem and your own responsibility. If you want to be offended, and remember, offense is all on your shoulders, I couldn't offend you against your will if I tried, then I guess by all means, feel free. That's your cross to bear, as it were. If you don't want to listen to what I have to say, then by all means, walk away. No harm, no foul. If that's what you want to do, I not only can't stop you, I wouldn't dream of trying. You have to be responsible for your own decisions in life and for whatever consequences that comes along with them. Because you notice that the religious, as a general group, tend to do exactly that. They hide in their little safe spaces where no one can disagree, and then they talk about everyone else as though they're part of the larger conversation. It's really why we laugh at them, because they're delusional. This isn't about having productive discussions with people who disagree so that we can come to rationally derived shared conclusions. It's about hiding from reality and repeating the emotionally comforting lie because it's easier and more soothing than just dealing with a potentially uncomfortable truth. And the political do it too, on both sides of the aisle. They don't want to talk to the quote-unquote enemy. They want to hide and tell each other stories about how evil the enemy actually is. Or, in the modern world, they want to censor the enemy so that their own narrative is the only one that remains. And that's evil. Pure evil, because, again, fifis. The only acceptable counter to speech is more speech. But when one side holds all the power and has no problem silencing the other side, they deserve nothing but derision, not celebration. But it seems to be the way things go these days. No one has any interest in reasoning with the opposition. They only want to shout them down, censor them, and in far too many cases anymore, to harm them in any way possible. violence is becoming the tool of choice for the extremists who disagree with what you have to say. And that reminds me of something else that I hear a lot, especially on the religious side. I don't give a damn about your worldview. The only time your worldview matters is when it accurately represents objective reality, at which point it isn't a worldview. It's a description of reality. Far too many people use the term as a means of getting around their responsibility to back up their own views. Oh, my worldview says there's a God. Oh, my worldview says we're in the Matrix. Oh, my worldview says up is down, left is right, and we're all inside out. It's just stupid. You can shove your worldview. Your worldview doesn't change the facts. When you have evidence that your worldview is a representative picture of the real world, fine, we'll talk. But using it as a get out of responsibility free card, forget it. And the same thing goes for people who just want to feel good about the real world. Well, maybe you can't. Maybe the real world isn't going to work the way you wish that it worked. It would be great if it would, but that doesn't mean a thing. You don't get to just decide arbitrarily based on your feelings that some things should be some way and some things should not. That's not how this works. You need to stop and think and reason. Stop feeling. You're just making a fool of yourself. Absolutely none of this matters. I have no ego to offend, and I have no worldview to protect me. I accept reality on reality's own terms based on the best evidence that we have at the moment. If we have no evidence and we can't make a rational case for it, I don't believe it. My emotional comfort doesn't dictate my position on anything, and it shouldn't dictate yours. Whether or not you wish something would go a certain way or would happen a certain way, that doesn't mean that it does or should. Your feelings just don't matter. You need to get over yourself. And that's kind of the problem, because far too many people are more interested in their feels than they are in the facts. They want the world to feel good and not necessarily care if what they stuff into their heads is true. One of the most important things for a rational person to do is to deal with reality as reality is, not as you wish that it was. Just accept the truth, then find some way to deal with it, because it doesn't really matter how you feel. Reality is going to be whatever reality is, and your feelings don't remotely enter into it. If you are allowing your feelings to get in the way of your acceptance of the facts, then you have some serious problems. It's nothing to be proud of. Knock it off. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Is society, with its emotions worn plainly on its sleeve, going completely the wrong way? I'd like to know what you have to say. The idea that we'll ever live in a magical utopia with unicorns and leprechauns, that's just absurd. Life isn't fair. We can only do our best, but we have to accept that our best, no matter how hard we try, that may never be enough. That's not an angry reaction. It's not an emotional reaction. It's just a simple evaluation of the facts. And the facts are all that matter. Now, I'm going to be telling the truth around here whether you like it or not. We can debate my interpretation of the truth, and I always encourage people to do so. That's why my comments are wide open, and I'm an active participant. But anyone who expects me to sugarcoat reality for their emotional comfort, you are on the wrong channel. Can reality be harsh? Absolutely. Deal with it. Because dealing with the world that we find ourselves in is one of the most basic parts of being an intellectually and emotionally mature adult. That's who I'm making videos for. That's who I'm talking to. Your feelings don't matter. Let's not pretend that they do.
Bum